Well, we have some big breaking news coming in. Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh gets bail in Liquorgate case. This after Supreme Court asked ED if it needs more custody of Sanjay Singh, and the ED has no objections for that. So huge relief for the Aam Aadmi Party MP. Supreme Court said that the bail cannot be treated as a precedent. Remember, Sanjay Singh was jailed after he was booked under PMLA charges, accused of money laundering, because the Enforcement Directorate had mentioned that Dinesh Arora, one of the prime accused in the case, had handed over 2 crores cash to Sanjay Singh. 1 crore on 2 occasions. Over those charges, Sanjay Singh was arrested and he was put behind bars. And today, the Supreme Court has given him the much-needed relief. The Aam Aadmi Party MP has secured bail in the top court of the nation, and the top court has said that bail cannot be precedent. We have Shavan joining us live on this broadcast. Shavan, what are the charges that were being faced by Sanjay Singh? And also, if you could brief our viewers about the latest happenings at the Supreme Court.
Well, 6 months after spending time in Tihar jail as well as Enforcement Directorate's custody, you have senior Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh being granted bail by the Supreme Court. However, it comes with some scathing observations that have been made by the Supreme Court with regards to whether at all this can be seen as a precedent, given the fact that you have other Aam Aadmi Party leaders who are also still behind bars. For instance, in this particular case, you have the former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, who's still behind bars. Now, there is a stark difference between the role that was allegedly played by Manish Sisodia and that of Sanjay Singh. There is a difference, and the difference essentially is with regards to who really played a pivotal role in formulating the draft excise policy, and that is the reason why the role of Manish Sisodia is far greater than the role that was allegedly played by Sanjay Singh. Now, the court essentially indicating the fact that since the trial is already underway, a question that was posed before the Enforcement Directorate, whether at all there is any objection. We are given to understand that the Enforcement Directorate maintains that they have no objection if at all Sanjay Singh is granted bail, because the matter is already underway, the trial has already begun, and that is the reason why granting Sanjay Singh bail at this point in time does not really create an impediment towards the entire investigation. Remember, for the other, particularly Manish Sisodia's case and Satyendra Jain's case, in both cases the Enforcement Directorate as well as the Central Bureau of Investigation had basically countered the bail plea that was filed by the leaders on the ground that they're influential people and the fact that they could tamper with the evidence. That is the reason why, remember, in the case of Manish Sisodia, he wasn't granted bail simply on the count that if at all he is granted bail, there's a high possibility that he could tamper with the witnesses. And these are witnesses who are directly in touch with Manish Sisodia. For instance, Arvind happens to be one such witness in this particular case. There are several others too. Now, with regards to Sanjay Singh, the fact of the matter is this, that the Enforcement Directorate largely relied not only on the witness statements, but also the fact that it is he who was actually in touch with a few others, the accused in this particular case, and was also allegedly involved in arranging meetings for the liquor policy. Those are some of the allegations that were leveled by the Enforcement Directorate, but they maintain that if at all that he is granted bail, it would not cause any impediment towards the investigation which is still underway.
Well, Shavan, the Supreme Court also, in its order, said that the appellant may continue with political activities, but the Enforcement Directorate's representative or the legal counsel said that he asked the Supreme Court to remove the political activities part. And the Supreme Court has also said that, okay, we will remove that part, and the order is also being pronounced. So why isn't Sanjay Singh allowed to take part in political activities?
Well, in fact, Deepak, will have to wait for the finer print to come in with regards to what exactly does the Supreme Court order really entail at this point in time. But we would just stick to what we know so far from the reports that are coming in from inside the Supreme Court with regards to the bail that has been granted. Now, does that really come with certain amount of conditions? We'll have to wait for the final order to come in. And once that is uploaded, perhaps better clarity to come in with regards to whether at all there are any sort of restrictions that have been imposed, particularly with regards to certain political activities. Now, the reason why perhaps the enforcement directed at this stage preventing Sanjay Singh from carrying on with any political activities, one will have to see the finer arguments that have been put forth by the legal counsel of the enforcement directorate. But the big news now essentially coming in with the fact that the enforcement directorate, now if you see in the liquor scam, this is for the first time that you are looking at the enforcement directorate not really opposing the bail plea that has been filed by any of the accused in this particular case. For instance, we have seen in K. Kavita's matter too, the enforcement directorate has argued the fact that she happens to be the closest associate of one of the accused, that is Arun Pillai, and a few others too that have been named. And depending on K. Kavita's statement, remember, a lot of action has actually been taken by the enforcement directorate. So there is a difference that one will have to look into, or the role that the individual has played and how important it is in terms of the investigation. Because if you see Sanjay Singh's role is a little different. This is with regards to whether at all there has been any kickbacks that were allegedly received by the party, and did Sanjay Singh actually play the role in moving the money. Now that is exactly the area of investigation that was being looked into. Now that is very different than in the case of Manish Sisodia, or for that matter Satyendra Jain, because in the case of Satyendra Jain, the direct allegation was that there were certain hawala operators that were engaged, and these hawala operators were engaged to move the money from Chennai all the way to Goa. Whether it has happened through other cities or not, that is something that was being investigated. But Satyendra Jain came under the under the scanner of the enforcement directorate with regards to money movement. Similarly, with the case of Manish Sisodia, the reason why he's been behind bars and the reason why the enforcement directorate has countered this all this while is simply on the ground that Manish Sisodia is the man who gave the approval to begin with. It is he who coordinated with Arvind Kejriwal's pointman, that is Vijay Nair, and the meetings that have taken place with South Group. So if you really look at the gravitas, or the gravity of the situation, it is very different than what you would have seen in the case of Sanjay Singh. But it certainly comes across a boost in the for the Aam Aadmi Party, because you have the entire leadership, the top leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party behind bars, and now you have their senior leader, someone who's been in the Rajya Sabha, who's been extremely vocal, and a vocal critic of the government too. Having Sanjay Singh back would certainly come across as a big shot in the arm for the Aam Aadmi Party right now, especially keeping in mind that they've been struggling with their leadership, particularly after the arrest of Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal. So Sanjay Singh's return would certainly come across as a big boost.
Also, Shravan, the enforcement directorate in the hearing, said that it hasn't found anything. The Supreme Court also asked, have they found anything? Have they established a money trail? Because the enforcement directorate had claimed that Dinesh Arora had paid Sanjay Singh 2 crores in cash, and he had paid 1 crore each twice to Sanjay Singh. And on that front, the enforcement directorate said that there were no findings. And Abhishek Manu Singhvi also said that the arrest came after 9 exculpatory statements made by Dinesh Arora before he finally named Sanjay Singh. Well, we have some reactions coming in. Let's listen in.
हमें बताइए कि आप क्या करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि अगर हमने ऑर्डर में लिखा दिया कि इनके खिलाफ कोई केस नहीं बनता है तो आपके लिए ये नुकसानदेह हो सकता है। ईडी ने कहा कि जी हमें कोई ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं है और इनको बेल दे दी जाए, तो संजय सिंह को बेल दी गई है। संजय सिंह को माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जमानत जो है दे दी है।
सर, कोई कंडीशन भी लगाया गया है?
कोई कंडीशन नहीं है। जो जमानत की राशि को लेकर जहां तक बात है और कितने जमानती होंगे उसके लिए जो है ट्रायल कोर्ट को बोला है वो निर्धारित करेगा। कोई रोक ठोक नहीं है। ईडी ने इस बात का जिक्र जरूर किया था, लेकिन माननीय अदालत ने कहा कि पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविटीज को लेकर कोई भी बंदिश नहीं है। वो पॉलिटिकल पर्सन है, उनको पूरा हक है कि वो पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविटीज में पार्टिसिपेट करें।
सर, अब
Sanjay Singh matter today listed for the argument, and Sanjay Singh has been granted bail. And the most astonishing factor that Sanjay Singh has been granted bail because ED did not argue their case at all and conceded on the bail because it was all apparent during the hearing and it was made clear by the judges. Honorable judges has made it clear before lunch that against Sanjay Singh there is no credible material to make a case against him. So therefore, considering this, ED has given a concession. ED has conceded before the court, and conceding the concession, the Honorable Supreme Court has granted bail to Sanjay Singh.
Well, that was the legal counsel, or rather the lawyer who's part of the legal team of Sanjay Singh, saying that there was no ground for arrest and that the case against Sanjay Singh is completely false and based on statements made by Dinesh Arora. And Sanjay Singh, after 6 months of jail stay at Tihar, Sanjay Singh has finally secured a supreme relief because the Supreme Court has granted him bail. And Republic TV will tell you more after the order of the court has been released.